All right, we are ready for our next run here. Diddy Kong Racing 100%. So, ready for countdown?
Yep, ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right. Once again, my name is Sweenerdog.
I'm Blake.
Welcome to Diddy Kong Racing 100%. This is, I think, probably the most popular category after all trophy races.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reason for that is because you get to see the entirety of the game. You get to do every race, every boss, every mini game, and you finish everything 100% naturally. So it's really cool for that reason on its own. But there's also a lot of really interesting tricks and glitches that we'll be abusing throughout the run. Some of them are luck-based, so hopefully those go well. Otherwise, this would be interesting. And we have our classic opening cutscene here. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to plane by talking to Taj right away and run around the overworld and grab the first 4 golden balloons that we need to get.
Hello, select abracadabra.
So in total, there are 47 golden balloons that we need to get, 4 magic keys, 8 amulet pieces, I think, right?
8.
Yeah, 1 for the TT one, 1 for the
Oh,
this
yeah,
big
yeah,
one. All right, make our way back over here. It's like the cleanest overworld I've ever done. Last one, I missed it. All right, that's fine.
all right.
Yeah, we don't need to. We can get that one later. But we're gonna enter our first world, Dino Domain, and we're gonna run right over here to Jungle Falls.
And notice right away he's going to press start, restart. He'll skip the opening cutscene, so that saves a little bit of time. I'm not sure exactly how much, like a second.
There's like 40 races total throughout this run, so for every one of those you do, you're gonna save a little bit incrementally. There are 2 tracks where we are not going to do that reset trick, and that's because the opening cutscene is faster than resetting it. So it's just a really tiny little thing. What you're going to see here as I finish the last lap, I am going to attempt a frame perfect trick. It's just a cutscene skip. Most people who play this game will remember Taj the elephant flying down and handing you your golden balloon, but we're going to attempt to skip that by pausing on the last frame of the race when it says that we get first place. Nope.
It's the worst trick in the game.
It is. It is completely frame perfect, and a lot of times the lag itself will keep you from getting it. And you can pause buffer it, so I can unpause and pause again to attempt to catch the frame where I've crossed the finish line, and then just return to the lobby and skip it. But there are 40 of those in the run, 40 frame perfect tricks, so good game.
Yeah, and they're very punishing. You lose around 6 to 7 seconds each cutscene skip you miss. So you can lose minutes with nothing to do with your actual ability to play the game, just your ability to snipe this one frame.
Back on Ancient Lake, Blake's home track.
Yeah, it's so great.
We often refer to him as Ancient Blake because he has the world record here.
Now we're going to see our first key grab. Ooh,
I missed it. Wow,
interesting.
that's a shame.
Usually the key hitboxes aren't that mean.
They're not usually that bad. This one's notoriously unkind. There we go.
And that slope going up to the key it's a really weird slope. Like, it's kind of deceiving how hard it can be to get sometimes. Nice. So there's a cutscene skip. Then we don't have to watch that cutscene of Taj flying in.
Yep. Part of me is almost sad because it's one of my favorite cutscenes in the game, but we always see it at least once a run anyway.
Yeah. For me, it's at least like 20 times a run. It's the main reason why I don't do 100%. Just every time you miss one, you lose a part of your soul.
You do, and it sucks because every one I miss, I'm going to lose 6 seconds each. So 40 of those on the run, you can do the math yourself. It's a lot of time.
Now this trick right here is called Canyonless. It's really fast, but it's really hard to do, especially 3 times in a row. You basically fly over the canyon by connecting that zipper with that blue balloon. And it's we got the name from the cannonless trick from Super Mario 64, but we just changed the L to a Y, or a whatever, to a Y. I can't
Nice.
spell very
Good lab.
nice. 1866.
It's a really good example of some more of that the cruelness of the terrain in Diddy Kong Racing.
Nice.
You can see all of these have looked different.
Sub 1 in a cutscene skip. Very nice.
Good race. So I'm going to attempt a faster version of the out of bounds trick here. Hopefully I'll get it. I'm really, really bad at it, but normally you'd grab just this, you'd use this and grab this balloon and go out of bounds right away. But I'm going to grab some extra bananas and kind of take my time while I do it because I'd really like to not miss this. But
Nice.
so we're out of bounds now. And this track is essentially just an oval. I just have to go back down over here, hit this checkpoint that is seemingly invisible every single time.
So if anybody wants to learn an out of bounds, this is the first one that you should work on. There's an easier version to get the out of bounds, but actually navigating out of bounds is pretty straightforward.
And you'll see me do that easier version later, just because it's kind of a failsafe. Like it's not often that I'll miss it, compared to that one where one little mistake and I seem to screw it all up.
Nice.
So that was a pause buffer. Unpause, pause again. Got it. This
Now,
is
the worst trick.
the worst trick in the run. An interesting one if it works out, but it's a really good example of checkpoint manipulation. Essentially, to put it simply, there's a checkpoint behind the track that I'm going to cross over, and that's going to allow me to finish the race really, really early because it thinks I'm at the end of the race. Yellow boost, nice.
Some RNG.
Yeah, it's RNG minute for sure. Okay,
All right, we'll try again.
so this is second try. What I'm looking for here is when I start to drive down the track normally, I need it to say wrong way. Third try. And this is totally RNG. There's really no way to tell if you're going to get it or not. People have said it's about a 50-50 shot. Others have said it's like a third of the time you'll get the wrong way. Fourth try. There we go.
There.
All right, so fourth try is not great, but it's naturally you kind of have to just run with it. If you're going for like world record, I almost just reset. If you're going for like world record or something, a lot of runners, or like the top runners, will just reset if they don't get better than third try.
Yeah.
So getting through this first portion of the run of Dino Domain can be really brutal at that higher level because of this one RNG trick.
What does world record have? Third try and second?
I think it's like third try and second try. We
Okay.
could ask Bio sometime, but all right. We're going to see our first mini game, and for the most part, these mini games have been perfected to the point of there's a certain pattern that you need to win in. This first one, we're going to fly a plane around a little arena and pick up eggs and drop them off at our nest. And once they've hatched, no one else can steal your eggs, and you have to hatch 3 of them.
And the thing with mini games is they can become very disastrous very fast, especially if you get an egg stolen. But we have figured out if you place the eggs in certain positions, you can basically guarantee that they won't get stolen. Like right here, he's going to kind of place it on the edge. And then the AI really can't get the egg because they kind of do this spiraling motion to get the egg, and oh my god, it just doesn't really work out for them.
So RNG is not in my favor right now. Drumstick beat me to the egg. A lot of times it's because I'm too slow. But we're gonna wait for poachers. I think I see one.
Nice.
All right, not bad. Okay. So that can go really wrong. If
Yeah.
one of them does manage to steal your egg, you have to go pick it back up, bring it back to your nest, and try to guard it for a long enough amount of time. A little sloppy, but not too bad. We got through it.
Now we start the famous silver coin challenges.
So this is what's really cool about 100% compared to any percent.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot to get, I gotta get the balloon out there.
I was like, wait, 8 balloons.
7 balloons, yeah. Any percent only does 4 of these coin races, and then it kind of skips the rest of them. But 100% does every single one of them. So routing the coin races for the most optimal time is actually really interesting. The hitboxes on them can be mean.
And later on in the run, you'll see that some of the coin placements are not very kind. Dino Domain, for the most part, is pretty nice, with a couple exceptions, but Ancient Lake is particularly nice. You basically just drive straight and you run into all of the coins.
Yeah, generally speaking, they're kind of like already on the path that you're going to take. But on the harder worlds, they are really out of the way, and it's not fun.
Nice. And if you want a real challenge, try the coin challenges on Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Those are, they're a lot more difficult. But yeah, this is the first track where the coins kind of become difficult, especially that one right by the water. If you don't know the correct strategy, it's very easy to get that coin and go straight into the water.
So you'll see me, I kind of have to go out of the way a little bit to grab some of these.
I'm gonna skip that zipper to get this coin. So a little bit of a time loss just to get the coins, but he did that really smoothly, so it's only gonna be a little bit slower than the non-coin race. But the general formula for these coin races is get the coins as fast as possible and then just do it like it's a normal race. But that's not always the case with some of the out-of-bounds tracks.
Yeah, you'll see a couple different strategies that I'll use. Some of them I'll get all the coins like on the first lap because they're kind of annoying to grab otherwise. Some of them I'll wait till the second lap to get them so I can spend the first lap getting bananas. Because then I'm completing the second lap. That coin's annoying.
Yeah.
But, well. You also see strategies change depending on what you're playing. In ATR, typically, if I'm playing with the music off, I actually do that pond jump skip, which you'll see here on the second lap. I do that right away on the first lap, but I skip it in 100%. It's usually a little bit safer to get those extra bananas on the outside. Nice. And not worry about them so much. Wow, that was amazing.
The risk of canyonless.
Classic. I think canyonless is probably my favorite trick in the entire game.
Yeah.
It's so fun when you get it perfectly.
If you get it like a perfect one, it feels so fast.
Yeah. If you want to see some of the individual level world records, check out the speedrun.com page for Diddy Kong Racing. Some of them are insane. This one in particular is totally uncontested. It's been alive for like 2 years. Man. Buffering's a little off today. Oh well. So Hot Top, this is the one I'm supposed to go out of bounds on, but of course all the coins are inbounds. So we're going to do our entire first lap inbounds, and then we'll go out of bounds on our second and third lap. Wow. Okay. Let's do the fast one. No, we won't. Good stuff. Barrel rolling and playing optimally to get the best time like this is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And you can watch some of the time trials for yourself, and you'll see they are pretty intense.
Yeah, every time you barrel roll, you're essentially locked in that barrel roll animation, so you have to like foresee where you're going if you want to string together a bunch of barrel rolls, because you're kind of just locked in this line, either going straight, slightly up, or slightly down.
Yeah, so you can see I kind of slowly change direction between barrel rolls if I need to, but not all that often. And the reason I go back in bounds here is because it's a lot easier to see the finish line and get the cutscene skip.
Nice.
Okay,
All right.
so as we mentioned before, tricky skip is a pretty low chance of getting it early on, getting it first try or second try. You don't have to do it just once in the run, you do it twice. So we're going to do it again. And hopefully we'll have better luck this time. That would be nice.
And this is going to be the first place where we implement a reset.
Yes. That'll be a good thing to remember.
Yes.
Would now be a good time for donation?
Yeah, we can do a donation.
Cool. I am Zambra donates $30. They say, I'm doing my part. Close the sub gap.
Nice.
Yes,
Second try. That's
It's good.
All right, so that's a reset of the console. As soon as you get first place there, you can reset the game, and it understands that you beat the boss race, and it gives you everything. Usually, you have to sit through a rather lengthy cutscene after that. We don't have to do that. We can just get back into the game. And a lot of the reason we reset here is when we get back into the overworld, Taj is going to talk to us and challenge us to a race. That's how you get one of the balloons. I'm Yahoo. Nice to meet you. I challenge you.
Chalakazoo.
This is probably the hardest race in the game. Hands down.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. These angles you have to cut. Like, look at that. I'm just. Nah, it's pretty easy.
I'm not killing any frogs, so that's alright.
Wow.
Ooh. Reset.
Reached the peak of humanity.
So at the end of the race there, you don't have to actually go back to the finish line. You can just come back to the middle here. And if you honk on the pad in the middle of the world, you can call Taj back to you. So I need to switch to the plane to get to the next world. I don't need that balloon right now, right?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Like, if I've ever missed it, I've just reset. I think you
Yeah.
get with, like, the plane challenge or hover. One of it. I'm not sure.
think you might just get it when you do your first trophy storage. But
Okay.
we'll see if we run into issues later.
Yeah. Should have done my research first.
Nice.
Yeah, those bananas are pretty hard to get without crashing into that wall and essentially losing all of your speed from that boost. So that was really good. And this cutscene skip is pretty hard to get because not only are we dealing with the music, which causes lag, the particle effect causes even more lag, and we're boosting into the zipper, or into the finish line. So it's one of the more difficult cutscene skips to actually get.
Yeah, it is. It's really annoying. The past 2 runs of this I've done, I've been able to pause buffer it though, so hopefully we'll be able to get it.
Yeah, no commentators curse this time. And sometimes there's a lot of oil slicks and spike balls in that area that he just went through, but it was pretty good RNG for us.
Nope. Too bad. Yeah, it's a really, really tough one to get.
Now we're going to see the first track in which we don't skip the intro cutscene. We just let this one play through because it's faster than actually resetting.
So this is one of the tracks that has a hidden key on it, and it's actually pretty well hidden. The first 100% run I did of this game, I couldn't find it. I was like, yeah, I know where it is, and I was like, I don't know where it is. Oh, so sloppy. Some of the top runners can just like whip in there and grab it quick and then leave. It's really impressive, but I have not practiced that yet. So now we just finish the track regularly. When it comes time for silver coins here, it's going to get really interesting. The Snowflake Mountains silver coin challenges are the hardest in the game.
Yeah.
Give me that. Woo. Snowballs everywhere. Man,
Yeah, they're tough.
they are tough, and buffering's even tougher. But
Yeah. like people like Mrs. Gazamaluke, he's super good at buffering them. Shoutouts to Giz,
Shoutouts to Giz,
one of the best players at Diddy Kong Racing.
hands down. This is also a really interesting track in that a lot of players have different routes for this. Some people don't grab other blue balloons. Some people only do it like with like 1 banana because it's faster to just skip them. And there's other people that do it with 10. But the difference between 1 banana and 10 bananas in plane is a lot. All these barrel rolls I'm doing, I go with like 5 or 6, whatever I can grab. All those barrels I'm doing actually take you a lot farther than you think they would with more bananas. So a lot of the time you end up going farther than you think, and it's hard to adjust between the amount of bananas you have.
That's the beauty of Diddy Kong Racing is you can basically, there's so many different routes, but you can get like pretty similar times because this game is, it's so hard and humans are so far away from like the task level that, nice cutscene skip, you can essentially get similar times to other players yet use a completely different strategy.
And it's one of those games where you can really tell who's playing it.
Yeah.
Like the difference between watching Obio play or watching Giz play,
Yeah.
the 2 top runners, it's like noticeable. Not only do they use different strategies and different routes for certain tracks.
Just their play style.
Yeah, or you
Like-
can hear like, you can see their input display, the buttons they're pressing. Obio is like a machine gun.
Yeah, Obio's just this crazy guy going
Wow.
for speed where Giz is like this fluid person going for like this perfected run.
Oh yeah, and it's amazing watching them. They actually have a tied world record in all trophy races,
Yeah.
which is crazy because the seconds there really count, and they manage to both end up with similar times, which is really cool.
Yet have like such opposite play styles.
Yeah.
They can get the exact same time, which just shows like you don't need to play this game a specific way to become best in the world. Like you can have a very unique style and still get really good times if you put the effort into it.
For sure. Shoutouts to Bandau, who might be one of the more YOLO players. Nordic and Bandau.
Yeah.
They do stuff that is so risky and saves such a minuscule amount of time. It's admirable,
Yeah.
for sure.
Nordic will go for these things that save like 1 second, but they're just run killers, and they're so hard to get.
This track's really been giving me trouble today, but oh well.
Yeah, there's a lot of slopes and changes of angles and hills, and car doesn't like hills.
Car
or
doesn't like
slopes.
it. It's interesting. Car is usually the first vehicle that every player learns how to play. It's the most basic. It's pretty easy to learn. But as you get better and better at the game, I think hover car becomes one of the easier ones. Bonking into walls in hover
Yeah.
car, you like don't lose any speed. It's like super forgiving. But bonking, touching anything in car, and you just like slide off to the left of the track. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
okay.
Plane, you just might as well turn off the console and go home.
So we're on our second boss race now against Bluey the Walrus. Real nice guy. He has a beautiful bow tie on. Very silly voice. Giz has one of the best impressions of him I've ever heard.
In general, he has very good Diddy Kong Racing impressions.
If 64 ever gets around to finishing that ROM hack of this game, hire Giz to do the voice acting.
Voice act.
Yeah, especially for like Taj. I just want to hear Giz humming like the Taj hum, like over the overworld music. That'd be great.
I don't know if they could afford the price that Giz would demand.
That's true. Yeah, he's a high price. Donation incentive? All right, there's our next reset. That was pretty slow overall, but we got through it, so it's all good. So now, again, the reason we reset is when we get back to the overworld, Taj is once again going to challenge us to a race. This time, however, it's going to be in the hover car. This is actually a great example of a race that has absolutely no boosts and is all snaking. So we're just going to be turning left and right the entire time and totally whooping Taj's butt the whole time.
And this challenge is notorious for inflicting pain on your hand, at least for me and a few other runners, but the constant left to right motion can put some strain on the old thumb.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hover has really beaten people up in terms of their hand strength and endurance.
Yep.
It's something you actually have to work on. Like you have to torture yourself a little bit to get good at it, because this race, you know, a decent time on it's like a minute and 13 seconds, and it doesn't sound like much, but when you're tapping the A button about 4 times a second and moving the control stick left and right constantly, it wears down pretty quick.
Yeah. Before this last GDQ, I basically never played hover because after like 2 races, my hand would just hurt so bad. So I had to slowly build up to it every day for like a month and a half, and now I know it'll still ache after a while, but I have much better endurance, and it's just one of those things you need to do it every single day if you want to see some improvement in terms of endurance.
The time trial community is a really good example of like how far some of these vehicles can be pushed. There's a couple very, very good hover players, but there's 2 of them in particular. Shoutouts to Stacy and Brendan. They have times that like no one else has really been able to get closer to.
Yeah.
They're just complete masters of the vehicle.
The thing is, like, I can't even fathom like the things that they do. Like the way that they hit boosts to get such good speed and like keep that speed for so long. Like, I can't really make sense of it.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I'm not in a boost and I'm just driving straight, you know, my snaking's pretty rhythmic. It's back and forth and back and forth. But as soon as you go through a boost, you have to like speed the snaking up.
No, it's like the spastic motion to like try to make the boost last even like half a second longer.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
It's crazy because now we're doing car, which is the complete opposite of the hovercraft in terms of complexity.
Yeah, it's not very complex. It's more or less about like trajectory and direction.
Yeah.
Especially this track in particular. If I'm not on the right line, I'm never going to hit that boost right there. And connecting it saves a lot of time. And Pirate Lagoon is my favorite hover track.
For standard hover or for all hover?
Probably just standard hover, like balloon race at the least. Favorite hover track in time trials probably. Oh, that's tough. You know, Ancient Lake's actually really good.
Yeah, I actually do really like Ancient Lake time trial hover. Also, Treasure Caves hover is pretty good with the zipper at the end.
Actually, yeah.
You can get really fast speed into the next lap.
So you'll see me boost into that blue balloon at the beginning of the cave there. That's actually really hard to grab. If this game is really good at sending you through zippers and then through a balloon, and then you just won't pick the balloon up. You'll literally just go through it, which is really frustrating.
That's good. Was that 51?
I don't know. I can never look at the time that I get because I'm like, I gotta get the sip. I gotta get the skip.
Yeah.
Yeah. In trophy races, I'm like just like glued to the top right like the whole time. All right, another track with a really silly location for the hidden key.
Yeah. The only one that's really not silly is Dino Domain. All the other ones
it's like reasonable.
They're pretty ridiculous, and to expect like a 6-year-old child to go out of their way to go exploring to find these keys is it's kind of a lot to ask for from Rare.
Yeah, you'll see some of them later are like well, especially like the bell, like one in particular in Dragon Force, the track Boulder Canyon, has a little bell that you have to hit.
But like this one's like, oh, let's go
Let's
try
go
to
here.
find some whales. Oh wait, there's a key here.
Okay. Like, why is this here? It's really silly, but it's you know, it's one of those things. Like, once you know it's there, it's there. And they do a good job of introducing it to you because the Ancient Lake one is so easy to find, and it's on the first track of the game. Like,
Yeah.
Not
Have
bad.
you ever noticed the mini map is like a whale in this one?
Yeah, actually, it is.
And then
It's
like,
missing a fin, but
the key is like where the blowhole of the whale would be.
that I haven't noticed.
One time, Giz and I, we were trying to give someone a hint on where the key was. They're like, it's at the blowhole of the whale. And they're like in Whale Bay, like on top of the whale looking for it.
But that must have just on stream or something.
Yeah, it was
That's
some
great.
random streamer who was doing like a casual playthrough, I think. Actually, I can't remember who it was.
So there's our key. This is the other track where we're not going to restart at the beginning. Again, just because this opening cutscene is faster than restarting the race, so we can skip the cutscene. Another really good example. The AI there, sometimes they get in your way, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
There really is no way of controlling it. There is a strategy if you're going for individual level world records or anything like that, or just PBs even. You can go into one of the mini games and get last place, which puts you in 4th, and start in the 4th place position at the beginning of the race. When I started this one, I was in the 1st place position. And doing so allows you to completely avoid all of the AI, which is nice. That works. That doesn't.
Have you noticed that this mini map is just a squished version of the Ancient Lake mini map?
Copy and pasted.
Nice.
So that's actually another one that's really tough to get. Again, just like Frosty Village, there's a lot of lag at the end. This is my favorite boss race, hands down.
Good old Bubbler.
Good old Bubbler. His voice used to scare me when I was a kid.
And this race is quite difficult as a casual player, especially most casual players either play as Pipsy or Tip Top, who are very slow, and you basically need to get in front of him right away.
And the way you unlock TT, the guy I'm playing as right now, who is the fastest, you have to beat him in all of the time trials on every track. Again, something that actually for a casual player is pretty difficult to do.
Mhm.
Take some practice. But once you unlock TT, the game's kind of totally open-ended. Like, he is so much faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Flame, in which case Drumstick Chicken is faster. Because his barrel rolls are faster.
Are we gonna lap Bubbler here?
Maybe at the very end. Ooh, it's likely.
Ooh. I think we're gonna do it. I think we did it. Nice.
Lapped him. Take that, Bubbler. So this is this reset takes us back to the overworld once again for our final challenge with Taj. He's going to challenge us to a plane race, and then he's going to give up forever because we're just so much better than him. That and there's not that many places to race on the overworld island, so Taj retires, made him quit. Poor guy. Hi, Taj.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
Take my time here. It's very, very easy to bonk on this one, and it's really laggy because of the music, and there's so much going on in the overworld since it's so big. Like this portion in particular. Sometimes when you enter the overworld from that angle, there's so much being loaded in that the game slows down so much you can't even barrel roll. Like your button inputs just won't work. It's really cool and fun.
So much fun.
Like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking at his controller. He's just spamming barrel roll, but
It doesn't
nothing's
work. Nothing
happening.
happens. Yeah.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye for now. Okay, so we are going to move into kind of the second half of the run. Make sure I grab that. We're going to do our first trophy race. And you'll notice if you played this game before, we skipped these. And we skipped them for a particular reason. At the very end of this trophy race, there is an out-of-bounds wrong warp that will take us to one of 3 locations based once again on RNG. And depending on which one we get, we will go to a different part of the world, and the game is still going to think that we're in a trophy race. If we complete the trophy race in a different world than Dino Domain, it gives us the trophy for that world. So a lot of the tracks in Dino Domain are very short. It's by far the fastest trophy race. So we actually, instead of completing trophies in each of the worlds, we just do Dino Domain a bunch of times and kind of cheese it in that respect and get all the trophies that way.
Fossil Canyon.
Another interesting part of this game is the trophy race. The trophy races, the AI actually gets a little bit harder to race against. They're a little bit faster. So the AI ends up to being in different locations than they normally would be, like in the regular balloon races that we've been seeing me do so far. Ooh, oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah. And that's nice for some of the tracks, like Jungle Falls coming up, because usually the AI are in pretty bad position right in the tunnel. But since we're in the trophy race, they'll be slightly past the tunnel, so we don't have to worry about them as much.
Yeah, some tracks it's really nice. Some of them it's not. Oh, Diddy.
And we don't have to worry about cutscene skips in trophy race.
Yep,
which is
just
very
finish
nice.
and go.
Shoutouts to Tofu, another top runner of this game, who was like the guy that everybody thought of as the great, and he's still a great player. And just shoutouts to the
Shoutouts to
legend
the whole community.
Tofu. Yeah, the old community of DKR.
You guys are great. If you're interested in trying out speedrunning this game at all, join the Diddy Kong Racing Discord. So many really nice people in there that'll really help you learn how to play the game and give you advice, come on stream and stuff. It's a lot of fun. All right, so you'll see me do the easier version of this clip right here. And we're gonna fly up towards the wrong warp area, and I missed it. That was almost bad. It's right underneath the finish line, really. If you're good at the game, you can get it on your first try.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it warped us to Dragon Forest, and it put us in the car, and we just call that Dragon Car. That is the most common warp that you will get. It's about an 80% chance that you'll get that one. If I pause the game right now, this is the trophy race menu. It still thinks I'm in a trophy race. So what we're gonna do, instead of actually finishing the trophy race, we're gonna cheat, and we're gonna go to the mini game inside of Sherbet Island. We're going to beat it once and get a piece of the amulet.
Are you going for Tofu strats?
Oh my god.
That's so
I
hard.
usually just do this.
So there's this strategy, which is the easiest. You just circle this balloon. Then there's this really difficult strategy where you basically have this specific route and you use a lot more of non-homing missiles. And how much time does it save? Like 15, 20 seconds?
Yeah, it's really, it looks really cool too. It's just
Yeah.
a massacre.
Yeah, like you have to like turn around with TT before the camera adjusts and like snipe AI that you can't really see that well.
Oh, Diddy, no, don't.
Right.
I need to get one more rocket off, please. Okay. All right, so we finished the mini game. This is going to give us a piece of the TT amulet, but the game does not count this as finishing the trophy race yet. What it will count as finishing the trophy race is losing the mini game. So I'm going to go back into this mini game and kill myself, and it's automatically going to give us the trophy.
And the reason why we didn't get there is because the game kind of prioritizes an amulet piece over a trophy.
This is like the hardest one to do.
I know, it's so awkward.
So I'm just going to try and run into these spike balls and finish early. Or end the game early, please. Okay. 4th place for me. Man, I stink. But wait, trophy race screen.
And
Oh, look.
apparently Dino Domain, but it's really not.
Really not. You can actually go and see the trophy in Sherbet Island instead. So we call that trick trophy storage. It's really interesting, and it's what allows this run to go so fast. And now we're going to start doing the silver coins for this world since we're already here.
So now we'll see a little more complicated silver coins, but it'll only get worse once we get to Snowflake Mountain.
Yeah. Once you return to the icy wasteland that is Snowflake Mountain, things are going to go south. Oh, what? That's no good. Oh well. To do some sick maneuvering. Another really good example. If you're really fast on the first 2 laps, those AI right there are no problem.
Let's see
Ready?
these strats. Nice.
Woo! Backups, right?
Awesome.
Man alive, cutscene skip's not going well today. Oh well. Back to Pirate Lagoon. You'll see one. There's a couple coins here that are really like out there, but it makes for an interesting challenge because you really have to like invent your own way of getting to those coins and grabbing them.
And some of them are, for casual players, are quite difficult. This one is pretty hard because that one he got was like way out of the way, and if you're not snaking and just holding A, it's pretty slow to get it.
I gotta get that on the last lap. There we go, right through the balloon. Hold on to this. Wow,
I
not a
can't
good-
believe you got that.
Yeah, I didn't think I would get it either. Diddy's gonna steal my balloon from me because he's a jerk. Alright. Not a great race, but
Got the cutscene skip, so
yep, doesn't matter.
you could have had an awesome race, missed the cutscene skip, and that would have been worse than what just happened.
Nice. There are some zippers in this game that the terrain will actually lift your car up off the ground just enough to keep you from hitting it. And you'll just go right over the zipper, which loses a lot of time and is super, super annoying.
Yeah, in this track, this second zipper into the lap, there's just this tiny bump, and if you hit that bump on his right, if you hit that, it'll just bounce you up slightly and you'll go right over the zipper, even though it looks like you drove exactly right over it.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. A lot of that, little things like that, they all have an effect on how fast you're going. So, especially in the time trial community, a lot of the world records that are by like tenths of a second, it's from stuff like that. When your car just barely leaves the ground for a moment and you're not going as fast as you could be had it stayed on the ground. Something like that. Very, very minuscule little differences. Magnet strats.
Nice.
All right.
Pog champ stuff there.
Ooh.
Some more Pog stuff. Nice.
Cool. So yeah, cutscene skips are interesting because there's a lot of players that don't like them because they if you miss them, they kind of take away from how well you perform in the race. For instance, let's say I got a 50-second wheel bay here. I gotta get these bananas. Wow. If I got a 50-second wheel bay here and I missed the cutscene skip, it's more like I got a 56-second wheel bay. So
Yeah. So somebody could get like a 54-second whale bait, and like that could be their optimal performance. So if they're really good at cutscene skips and can always get it, that's better than the person who had to put a lot more time in to get that 50-second time,
Yeah.
but hasn't practiced cutscene skips, which doesn't really have to do too much like the actual game mechanics. So that's one of the main reasons why a lot of the players really like all trophy race categories, because you don't even have to deal with those at all. Nice.
nice. All right, Bubbler 2. Let's do it. So this race can actually go very, very awry if you don't get the blue start boost at the beginning. Depending on when you press A, when it says get ready, it'll either give you a blue start boost or a yellow start boost. The yellow one's really slow, way slower than the blue one. And if I get the yellow one, I'm going to fall behind Bubbler. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
And I think it's harder to get the blue start boost against bosses because they always go before the actual get ready
Yeah, they
go.
cheat,
So
yeah.
it kind of like makes you jump the gun a little.
Yep.
That's just my theory. I'm not sure.
No, I feel the same way. And it's interesting too because depending on how laggy the game is at the beginning, you like pressing A where you think you need to press A doesn't always work.
But yeah, he got the blue start boost, and now it's just smooth sailing from
Yep.
here.
You'll see all these bubbles on the track. Those are all bubbles that Bubbler's leaving behind him. If I hit one, I lose like 5 seconds. It's really bad. It's not fun. But if he gets ahead of you at the beginning, you're almost guaranteed to run into one of those bubbles that he leaves behind him.
Yeah, especially right there where there's two on each side.
Yep, he
That's-
leaves those there, and then you get caught in one, and then all of a sudden you're like super behind. And that can be a run killer from such a tiny little mistake like that. Oh, really? All right, reset the game again. And the reason for that is the cutscene we have to watch is pretty slow in comparison to resetting. This will also bring us once again back to the overworld. And we can go back into the trophy race, do the warp again, hopefully get a little bit lucky. That would be fun. And continue with the run.
Hello, select
Bad Taj. That is so much harder of a trick than it should be.
I know.
So, the reason I switched to plane, one of the wrong warps that you can get is actually, it takes you back to the overworld. And if I go back to the overworld, I want to be in plane. It's going to allow me to get to my next location really fast compared to having to switch then. So, we're seeing lots of Ancient Blade. As Blake said, it's pretty much the only track that matters.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any bumps or anything besides this one. But
Which actually helps you if you,
Yeah.
if you don't suck like I do. Because you can use this blue balloon. This is actually a good example. I think it's because drifting up slopes is much faster, but you
yeah,
can kind of send yourself flying off of that slope there. and into the setup loop thing.
And then sending yourself in the air, you'll obviously be keeping the speed from the boost a little bit longer because you don't have to deal with friction, as I like to think of it.
Good first start.
Solid canyon this. Nice jump. And this is a track where sometimes the music can be beneficial for certain things, like that lake jump. You get pretty good boosts consistently with music on, whereas if you have music off, you need to hit this zipper right here with very high speed to get a good jump.
Like that was not a good jump.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't hit the zipper with high speed. Hello? Alright, 101 start.
Jungle Falls.
Scary. That's another very notorious bridge. Bridges in this game are not nice.
Mhm,
The Boulder
not at
Canyon
all.
Bridge, Star City Bridge. What's up with that? Oh, and there's a great example of it. Oh my god. There we go, TT. Good boy. There are times where you think you know the track and something like that happens. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Yeah, that happens a lot in this game where you just do something that nobody ever has seen ever.
You're like, okay. I guess
game's
that's
wild.
possible.
Yeah. Like you can actually go into the top tunnel with a car that you normally need a plane to get into.
You can get on top of the top tunnel with a car.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. If you want to watch somebody do really funny glitches in this game, tune into Giz's stream. Dang. All right, so we got Dragon Car again. I'm really hoping we get one warp in particular, which is Dragon Plane. There's only a 10% chance of that happening, so it's really, really rare. It's not often, but when you do get it, it changes the route. We actually do things in a different order than we normally would, like we are in this case. So, all right, we're going to go into the next mini game, Icicle Pyramid, and this is, if all goes well, this can be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah. It used to be kind of RNG, but Giz found a very consistent strategy that seems to be completely execution based, so that's good. And it looks like we're going to get it based on this. Now these AI will just come up nicely and we just kind of line them up and fire. Perfect.
Nice.
Awesome. So that used to be a huge run killer before the strategy was found because it wasn't always consistent whether or not they would all come up to the top. But now Giz discovered you could actually move the cart before the race even started in a mini game. So we were able to manipulate the AI that way.
So, just like we did with Darkwater Beach, the other mini game that we've done, we're going to go ahead and lose the mini game right now, same way we did it before. And this is going to get the trophy for this world, so we can just kind of move on. Oh, my respawn. Okay. 4th place. Oh well.
Hey, another dino trophy.
Yeah, we get 5 dino trophies. We're really good at dino domain. The other ones, who needs them? And now, just like Sherbet Island, we get to go ahead and do all the coin races. This is where coin races can get really, really tough.
Frosty Village.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Dude, that was really good. Usually it doesn't look that smooth, and a lot of people take it a little safer and tap the A button a little to not go with so much speed, but it was sheer perfection.
Yeah, it's if you really just kind of YOLO in this game, it is a very flashy game. There's a lot of really cool tricks that are like, wow, who would ever thought, you know, I thought that would happen, but oh well. And then it's just that one point for So you can see the coins are really all over the place. They're not like, you know, they're not really in the path of the car like ever.
Ooh.
That would have been nice.
That would have been awesome.
Ooh. Need some bananas.
Another cool car mechanic is you can actually kind of adjust your height in the air by pressing up or down on the joystick. So you can actually like stay in the air a little longer by pressing down on the joystick, which you can extend the time you're in the air, therefore extending your boost time.
It's interesting too because it's not a surefire thing. Like it's not something you can just hold down on the joystick and it'll just go. You kind of like tap it. There's a little bit of finesse to it, so it's just another layer of complexity on top of a bunch of already really interesting like input mechanics.
Yeah, it's like if you hold it too long, your car will like catch some drag force.
Yeah. Oh my god, this track. Hello?
Yeah. So those are slopes for you.
Yep. Car and slope. Sworn enemies. Alright, I'm gonna take my time here and make sure I actually pick these coins up. One thing you might have noticed as well, oh boy, I'm gonna do this, and then, okay, now we'll finish the race. We're playing on the Japanese version of the game, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Japanese version, there's a few things that make it better. The biggest reason is it gives us the ability to get the wrong warp of Dragon Plain, which allows us to face Smokey the Dragon before we actually beat the 4 levels in Dragon Forest, which then allows us, if we get a cutscene skip in Dragon Forest, we can just restart the track and then immediately do the silver coin race without having to re-enter the level, so that saves a lot of time. Then the next big thing is there's a out of bounds that only exists in the Japanese version, and that's in Spaceport Alpha. There's this little patch of texture that they forgot to put on for some reason, and you can just fly right through it and then you're out of bounds. It's kind of cool.
It is. It's one of the more interesting out of bounds because both Hot Top Volcano and Windmill Plains, which are the other 2 tracks that you clip out of bounds on. I gotta get that coin. Those are actually like clips. In Spaceport Alpha, there's literally just not collision there. You can just go through the map and start flying around outside of it. So. I should have done the really fun backflip strat.
Dude, I
there.
love that strat.
Walrus Cove.
This one probably has the most difficult coin placements in Snowball or Snowflake Mountain. I mean, Sweener makes it look easy, but it's more difficult than what it looks like. Right here, it's like it's super close to the ice, and if you hit that ice, you'll lose all your speed and just start bouncing.
Yeah, it's super goofy. It'll just bounce you back out of the track, but it loses like a full second if you ever hit the ice. Oh.
I thought you were going for the hobo jump.
I'd like to get it. Dude, I'll
Last
try it.
lap?
I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try it last lap. It usually happens by complete
I
accident.
know, same here. Like, I'm just trying to cut it nice, and then I'll just hit it and just fly around.
Yeah.
So this is shout out to Hobbit.
Woo! Yeah. Nice.
And the cutscene skip.
All right, that'll work. All right, Bluey the Walrus. 31 golden balloons down.
Just 1 hour in.
That's about on pace for me, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Fantastic! If you can beat me again, I'll give you a special
I love how he has a
prize.
bow tie.
Like, why? No, nobody else is wearing clothing except Wizpig.
I know.
What's really funny is, I don't know how long ago this was found, but they recently figured out, or they found info about who the voice actors were for this game.
It's not Giz.
It's not Giz, but it could be.
Isn't it like all the same guy?
Most of it's the same guy. I think it's a guy who does TT's voice, does a lot of the other character voices.
Okay.
But I know Wizpig is unique, I think. So that's kind of silly.
And sometimes bonking is actually good in hover because you can like gain speed from the bonk if you do it right.
I'll do one right here just for fun. Alright, not perfect, but yeah, bonking like that is actually okay a lot of the time in hover, whereas in plane and car, like, it's essentially like run over. You
Yeah.
just lose so much time doing that. So now, we've got the Sherbert Island Trophy, we've got Snowflake Mountain. There's one that's really easy to forget about if you're not careful, and that's the same one that we've been doing this entire time, Dino Domain. So I'm actually going to complete the Dino Domain trophy now, and then we'll do the trophy race one more time after that to get the Dragon Forest trophy.
And hopefully we'll get Dragon Plane
Oh,
more
that's so hype.
Ancient Lake.
and not Overworld because that'd be bad. Because we'd be in a car.
We'll just go for a swim. It'd
Yeah.
be great.
Sub 11 second lap with music. Good stuff. I approve. And a 34. Oh, 35. I thought it was 34.
I still haven't gotten a 34.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, was that a PB then?
No, that's just 35.03.
Okay.
Shoutouts to Banana Boat Kid, one of the newest runners of this game. Already has his own 34 Ancient Lake.
Wait, he's a 34 already?
Yeah.
The
Dude's
heck?
scary, man. He's very good.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's going for sub 2 hours on the US cartridge for this game,
It's
which
like-
is pretty difficult.
I'll have to come out of Ancient Lake retirement.
Turn of the King. Oh, that would have been great.
I did get a new first lap PB at
Ooh.
Games Done Quick. A
How about that?
12:33 first lap.
Oh my God. When's 31, Blake?
It's asking for a
Oh, boy.
lot.
Here, have some of that AI. You can do it though.
Maybe. Nice.
A little sloppy, but as long as you can get through the canyon without bonking or hitting a bubble or hitting an oil slick or anything else
Then
horrible
it's a
that
good-
happens to you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'll take it. Clicking through bananas. No biggie. Oh. This is one of those tracks for me that's just really like, sometimes it goes perfectly, sometimes it's just a disaster, as we saw with the last trophy.
Yeah, it's a really fast track where everything's connected very tightly and you have to do a lot of inputs to make it work well. And this is a track where it can be better to play with music because of the lag. You can actually boost through the tunnels slightly faster.
Top volcano.
It's kind of bizarre.
It's really interesting. There's so many things about this game that we don't really entirely understand yet, and I
Yeah,
actually need to
yeah.
finish this race this time. So I'm gonna go out of bounds here, just as a failsafe. I don't want to miss it and lose a whole bunch of time. That would stink. That's a little too far. So I'm actually gonna finish this normally, and then we're gonna go right back into it and play all these tracks one more time. It is kind of fun. Like if I'm in the middle of a run, I try to beat all the times I had in like the trophy right before this one. Barrel roll, please.
And this one, you'll be completing it out of bounds because we don't have to worry about a cutscene skip.
Yep. This is super slow because I'm not great at this track, but I got it wrong way. That sucks. So I mentioned this earlier. There's a checkpoint down here that really seems to work sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. And I have not taken the time to figure it out entirely, but so you kind of know like right away because these little arrows on the side of the screen, they don't show up, which is really frustrating. But oh well, happens sometimes.
Yeah, and it's weird because sometimes you'll just go months without ever getting wrong way, then you just go to this phase where you just get wrong way like
It's always on
175
PB
times.
phase too, every time. Like an ATR or whatever. All right, back into the trophy. Let's go.
Trophy race. Ancient Lake.
Alright, we see some double single strats.
Oh, let's try it. Oh,
Good attempt. The balloon or the horn honk is on point.
Blake has this track down perfectly.
Nah.
Just about. There is a strategy at the beginning of this track. You can see there's just two blue balloons that I'm going to run into right now. You can grab one and then use it before grabbing the second one, and keep that blue balloon for later in the track, which saves a ton of time. So, interesting, fun trick.
Fossil Canyon.
It's pretty much frame perfect though, right?
Yeah, it's frame perfect to use that balloon the very frame you get it to boost into the other balloon. I didn't know it was frame perfect, but Fash, one of the guys who finds most of the glitches in this game, confirmed that it was frame perfect, so it made me
Dang.
feel better about myself.
That's my
And,
favorite.
yeah, and for the world record, you have to do it twice in Ancient Lake.
Yeah, and then also perform for like the rest of the race.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just put that there. I'm gonna hit that. Oh man, this is a
You're
terrible
just
fossil
making
canyon.
it interesting.
Yep, that's right. I'm just challenging myself.
I think this could be the new meta for Dragon Plane RNG manip.
Yeah,
Use that oil slick right there. and
it's like
then-
Super Mario World where they do like all the weird random stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we didn't hit it. We'll leave another one there just for good measure.
And a godlike canyon that's not
Alright.
terrible at all.
Little sloppy, missed a whole bunch of boosts, but we came out on the other end looking okay. That tofu lab.
I wasn't gonna say it at all.
It is crazy to me. Shoutouts to Giz once again. How perfect he is at this track.
Yeah. He's insane at this track. Like he can get 34s, which is 4 seconds faster. than
35
that.
consistently.
Yeah,
It's like, that was
35
just a
consistent.
38-second track time.
And like you didn't have any like major mistakes.
Yeah.
All right, let's pray to RNGesus for Dragonplane Wrong Orb.
I do some little
Yeah.
RNG manip here. That's
This is
fine.
good. Yeah,
Again,
one more
yep,
time,
so yeah,
good measure.
Yep.
You gotta hit that right frame exactly, and
Yep, yeah,
almost
so-
clip inbounds to
Oh my God. Okay. I'm
create
gonna,
more
like,
hype for
Yep,
this
yep.
Dragonplane, because we're gonna get right here.
Oh my God. Smokey,
It
right?
was
Yeah.
completely. He did that all on purpose.
Yep, that was 100% RNG minute.
We actually developed the strategy right before the run. Nobody else has ever done this.
There's a 10% chance of getting Dragonplane like that. So the fact that this happened is hysterical. But so when we get the plane like that, we can fly out of bounds inside the little Dragon Forest overworld area, and we can go to Smokey the Dragon, which is the boss for this world, right away. This is a tricky race. Not like the dinosaur, but the fact that it's actually really hard. Again, it's a plane track, and this is the first race against him. Really? Okay. This is the second race against him. He leaves fireballs all over the place, and he does it with this first one, but they're really not all that much like in the way. It's not that bad. It's not hard to deal with. The second one, it's like you're trying to barrel roll like this, and they're just littered. Man alive.
Yeah, I need to put a lot more time into this track.
Yeah, I mean, me too. It's a tough track.
And it's not one, like, if you don't practice it, you're going to be a lot slower than someone who's put a lot of time into it.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't just rely on, like, your overall playing ability. You just need to, like, put a lot of time into it and learn when you can and cannot barrel roll.
And it's pretty laggy too. So a lot of the times, even if you have any muscle memory, any consistent strats for it, like they might just not work out.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've like almost hit that windmill edge.
I'm still so hyped we got Dragonplane.
That is insane.
I was so confident, too.
All right, so I'm not going to reset here. Since we've done Smokey first, the game's going to assume that we're ready for silver coin races, but we haven't completed any of the tracks prior to that. So now, if I get a cutscene skip, I can, instead of returning to the lobby, restart the race and immediately enter the silver coin race, which saves, it's like 25 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's based on a 10% chance of it happening, which is pretty crazy. Before I forget, the first thing I need to do is go into Haunted Woods and get the, where am I? Get the trophy, because we're still in the trophy race right now.
Oh, yes.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do Haunted Woods. It's the shortest track in the world. We can't do the mini game in this one, nor do I want to try and lose Spooky Castle. So we're gonna just finish one of the tracks, and that'll give it to us.
Nice. That zipper at the end is extremely hard to be consistent with, and
There's a
yeah,
that one is another example of one that you can just drive right over.
yeah. There's like a little slope right before it, and yeah, you'll just go right over it, even though visually you went right over it. Ooh, it's a new meta right here.
Yeah. RNG manip invention. Yeah.
First pioneers.
Right here at VGM. All right, so here's our trophy for Dragon Forest, and now we do the tracks. We're gonna do the windmill planes out of bounds. It's the first thing we're gonna do, and it's gonna be pretty difficult to get. So hopefully we can get it. Get our restart. I thought I almost missed that. That would have been horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest teases that it can give you, where you like clip for a second and you just go right back in bounds. So that's pretty frustrating to get. Especially this is, I don't know what the timer says, how many, it's like an hour and a half into the run almost, like
Hour 14 right now.
hour 14, yeah, like, you know, to miss that in the middle of the run, it's really a letdown. So
Yeah.
we'll try it one more time just to kind of show it. No, we won't. Okay.
Dude, the YOLO time trial strat.
Should I?
Yeah, it's so hard.
So that right there, that's the time trial strategy where there is no balloons in time trials. There's a zipper inside of the windmill. If you can hit the one before it and the one inside it, you'll have enough speed to clip.
It's very difficult.
It's really hard to get, but it's pretty cool. So
Like the clip's already extremely difficult, but to do it without the balloon, it's. I mean, I've never been able to get it, and I've tried probably like.
I got
40
it
times.
once, and that's my PB. I'll try it one more time. Just want to see if I can show it off again. Nice. Really clean,
Flawless.
too. So a little anticlimactic in terms of the race, but normally I would just cross the finish line here. I want to make sure I can see the finish line. Oh yeah, that sucks. Hopefully I'll get at least one cutscene skip where I can show off the restart.
Yeah.
So it's going to put us outside of this here. We're just going to back right up into it and do the silver coin race right away. Get it out of the way.
Windmill planes.
So this track on silver coins is pretty cool. There's actually, what am I doing? I have to get the coins first. Whoops. I'm talking too much. You can grab some of the coins at the beginning and then do the clip right away on the first lap and go really fast for the duration of the track. And that's all fine and dandy here. But these last coins that I'm grabbing now, you can just finish on the last lap. And it's actually way faster than doing all of them on the first lap like I'm doing right now. Go for it. So now we're going to try and go out of bounds again. Really? You know what? I'm just going to grab it.
Yeah. The game is
I've never
being
done that
mean.
before. That was insane. We went right through it.
Yeah, you don't see that too much. That balloon.
Okay, we made it.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, nice. So once again, we'll just finish the track with the out of bounds route.
I mean, it's out of bounds. It's pretty easy to get lost if you're not really familiar with it, because like things will load in and out, and it'll just kind of throw you off. So, this out of bounds, you gotta put some time into it for sure.
Try this. For some reason, it helps if I can hear myself hitting the start button.
Yeah. So like Giz like punches the start button.
Oh yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Greenway Village, classic.
Yep.
Okay.
And it should be slightly easier to get the cutscene skip on car, because unlike plane and hover, you don't have to worry about these added techniques you need to do to go really fast, besides A-tapping and being
Yeah.
good with boosts.
In fact, a lot of the races usually just end with you going fast like that, just boosting over it, like it's no problem. Oh, cruel. Excuse me. So one of the things you'll see me doing, especially on this track, is switching the direction that I'm drifting in. And now it's muscle memory for me to just kind of like that. I'm just switching the way I'm drifting. But the input for that is pretty precise, and if you mess it up, and sometimes it depends on like the terrain that you're driving on,
Yeah.
you'll just like go the wrong direction and bonk into the walls.
Yeah,
like
if you
that.
try to switch direction while TT's in the air for even a second, it'll just go the completely opposite way. Nice. No, you're supposed
Oh, that's right. Oh well.
That's okay. But yeah, if he would have reset, it would have just started the silver coin immediately.
Like this, yeah.
Yeah.
We just went right into this with no time in between.
So that's the real time save from getting the wrong warp that we got.
Dude,
I think karma's kicking in for that.
that amazing.
Obscene
Yeah,
RNG manip.
this is all RNG results of RNG manip. Yeah, the game's like, no, sorry, man.
You take some, you gotta give some.
Ooh, come on now.
It's actually one of the hardest coin challenges for like casuals to beat, because like that one on the left side of the tree, it's kind of hard to get and still win.
Yeah.
With just using like Pipsy or Tip Tup and not knowing about the 10 bananas and letting off the A button and stuff like that.
Fast.
I hate that balloon.
Yeah, that balloon's really hard to grab. Most optimally, you won't. You can press the A button to help you slow down to make sure you get the balloon. But
Yeah, but
if you're doing it
it's the
as fast
speed
as you
run.
possibly can, you're just gonna hit the B button and brake. Nice.
at least you didn't reset there.
So here's interesting. We've already done the Smoky race, but it's taking us there now. And the reason it's doing that is because it thinks we've gotten 4 balloons. It's time to race Smoky again, or it's time to race Smoky for the first time rather. So it takes us back there, but we don't have to do that. We can just continue with the races.
I know time for the most bizarre key placement in the entire game, but I think we'll do it in lap 2.
Yep. So you heard on the first lap, I hit that bell. It dings. You don't see it when you're going fast and you're driving past it, but this drawbridge raises up. So if we hit the bell again, the hitbox for it is really iffy. And go up here. Oh look, the key's up
Nice.
here. Thanks, Rare.
And it's pretty hard to do if you're not really good at the game. Like, it can be a run killer for players new to the game, so a lot of times players will just do it first lap and then just restart the race.
Yeah.
But since Sweener's a god of this game, he can just do it and not really have to worry.
It's funny too, because you never, this game's multiplayer is not great, but you never really get to draw that drawbridge up on somebody. If you do, I mean, the road's gone. You have to like go around.
Yeah.
Restart. Okay. Yay. So now we're
Alright.
back into the silver coin race, just like that. Oh, the logs of doom. So cruel. Whoops. If you touch any of these logs, they will just send you flying.
Yeah.
Completely stop all your forward motion. It's really frustrating.
Like bumpers and pinball.
Yeah, actually. That's a really good way of describing it. That's exactly how it is. Just like bang. Over here now. Bye. Okay, there's one more coin we have to get that's a little out of the way. Nice. It's really easy to miss that one, actually.
Yeah.
Damn. That's hard to get.
Yeah.
That last lap here is so laggy. Of course I missed the balloon, but oh well. Let's do this old school. Okay. So there's our key for Smoky Castle. And actually, I did the route wrong here. I think the way you typically do it is you go to Boulder Canyon first, the track that we just did, and you get the key first, I think.
Haunted Woods.
And a lot of that is just because of the way, like when you come out of a race, you kind of want to go around the little overworld in a circle instead of having to drive across the, you'll see me do it in a second to go do Smoky Castle. Oh. Tight. Oh man. Yeah, that one there is very specific. Oh.
Vagueness strats.
Yeah.
Nice.
Super coin.
This track is nice because you don't have to really go or worry at all about bananas. You basically just fly into 10 of them.
It's true, yeah. You just kind of pick them up. Oh, that was nice. Oh, that's frustrating. There's one more coin I'm going to get on the last lap here because all the AI are in the way here anyway. So it's a little bit safer to just grab that one on the outside. We're going to go on a killing spree.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, actually, I did mess the route up here because right now I have to back up and go back to Smoky Castle, which is the mini game here. So awkwardly, you'd be like, okay, do this way instead. A little anticlimactic, but oh well.
Smoky Castle.
There's a couple other interesting strategies for this mini game. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to deliver 10 bananas to my chest up at the top of the hill there. Thanks, Crunch. See ya. If you get shot by the AI like that, you just lose both your bananas, and you can only carry 2 bananas in this mini game. So we have to make trips of just 2 every time. But there are some speed strategies for doing it a little bit faster, but they're pretty difficult. One thing I am going to do though is this time we're going to go this way. Really ineffectively. Okay. That slope right there is a really good example. You can see me drifting up it instead of just driving straight. It's annoying sometimes because your trajectory has to be just right or you're going to go flying off the edge, but that's it. Minigame's done.
You're doing a little board slide.
Alright, so there's our completed amulet. Awesome. And we're going to get the other completed amulet in just a sec. Because we got to go back to Smokey the Dragon. Hello?
What the heck?
One of the doors open, and the other didn't.
Closing and instead of opening.
Alright, yeah, so this is a tough race right here. This is the one where he just lays fireballs all over the track constantly. And they're pretty easy to hit because they're literally just like floating PNGs. There's like transparent images on the track. They're not actually like 3D objects that you can see. Alright, that was decent. Plane in most categories is one of the vehicles that you're going to save a lot of time if you get good at. Oh boy. The world record for this track is 1 minute and 9 seconds by Giz. It's a crazy run to watch on the speedrun.com page. But you compare that to the time that I'm about to get for this, which is going to be abysmal. It's a big difference. The amount of time you'll save just by this one track. Of all the races that we've done so far, this one track I'm going to save. You can save so much time on it if you just get good at playing. We're going this way, I guess. Oh,
Save.
attempted front flip. So you see me barrel rolling whenever I'm in plane. Like essentially almost everywhere I go, I'm barrel rolling. But if you do you do that by tapping the R button twice and holding left or right. So the input for it's not that hard, but it can be touchy. I'm gonna reset. So if you're not completely holding left or right, it's gonna assume that the control stick is neutral, just not being touched, and it's gonna make you do a backflip instead. So you lose all your forward momentum, and you just go whoop, loop-de-loop. So if that's, you can actually manually do a backflip if you want by holding down and double tapping R, or you can do a front flip by holding up and double tapping R. It's cool because I don't think any other N64 flying game really has that, as far as I know. So it's a kind of a unique thing, but for speedrunning purposes, it just adds one more thing, one more possibility for a mistake that really slows you down.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's WizPig time. That was good.
Yeah.
We've beaten all 4 bosses in all the worlds. And now we get to race WizPig.
And once you start speedrunning this game, this race goes from very difficult as like a child to not really that difficult at all to beat WizPig. But I mean, it is a hard course to like get a really good time, but in terms of just winning the race, it isn't too bad at all with TT.
All right. This is the laggiest car track because this rain graphic that's on the screen the entire time, and the lightning too, all the sound, the music's, which is great. The music is so iconic. But it makes the track so laggy. Like the amount of frames that you lose here, it's really hard to like predict like when the game's gonna decide, nope, you're gonna go super slow. And what's interesting about that too is the timer is not affected by lag at all. So if I'm moving really slowly because the game's moving really slowly, the timer's just gonna keep on going. So the less lag you have, the better. So you can see how some things on here can go really wrong. There's a couple of ditches that if you fall in, you're really in trouble.
Yeah.
And this is pretty unoptimal. If you get pretty lucky with some of the zippers being lagless or being a lot faster than they are being right now, you can send yourself flying across all that stuff.
Yeah, the task of this level is crazy.
It's really, really cool. It's like in this entire last portion, you like don't even touch the ground.
Yeah, you're just in the air and you only like land on the zippers.
So we're gonna reset again here, but we're gonna reset at a specific time. Normally with the boss races, I would reset right now when it says first place, but you can't reset until that cutscene starts playing. Otherwise, it does not recognize that you beat WizPig. It also skips, the reason we reset, obviously, it skips all the credits, which are really, really long.
Mm-hmm.
So you save a lot of time by doing that. So we're at 39 balloons out of 47, but we've completed all the worlds. Obviously, there's one more secret world we have to go unlock in one of the best cutscenes of all time.
This blew my mind when I first saw this. This is the pinnacle of cutscene skips. Or sorry, just cutscenes.
At Tofu, rocket science. This is engineering at its finest. Beautiful. You know, actually, I really don't think about it often enough. That is an absurd cutscene.
It's like you don't even go and you just watch
Yeah,
the
you
rocket.
just watch
Then there's a
it.
portal underneath.
Yep. All right, we're on Space Dust Alley. If you were here for the ATR race, you heard us kind of talk about how difficult of a track this is. Even better, we have to do it twice in a row, assuming I get the cutscene skip.
Yeah.
The stakes are really kind of raised here. This is at the very end of the run, and we've been getting all these cutscene skips this whole time. And luckily for us, we got Dragon Plains, so we kind of got to reset and go back into the Silver Coins race, like you saw us do a little bit earlier. But Future Funland is like that by default. The problem is if you try to re-enter the race after you like miss the cutscene skip and you have to get returned to the lobby, you can't go back inside of it. The balloon count has to be very specifically like the perfect amount. So if you miss the cutscene skip, you have to come back to this race later and do it again after you've completed all of the other ones, which loses a lot of time.
And the reason why you can just get the cutscene skip and reset is because there's only one boss in this world, unlike all the other bosses where there's 2 boss races. So you just essentially just restart and the game's like, all right, silver coin challenge, because there's no first boss you need to do to unlock the silver coins in the first place.
This is surprisingly clean.
Yeah. It's like 115. Nice.
Nice. So missing one of those is, at the world record level, it's a run killer. It loses 12 seconds a pop, whereas in the past, it has only lost us 6 seconds. So it's a little bit more bearable, but we're right back into the coin race now instead of having to come back to this later, which is great. So beating this entire world in one go without having to come back to anything is obviously the most optimal way of completing it, but that's a lot of times that's kind of a dream.
Yeah.
The cutscene skip on this track in particular isn't really all that hard to get, but the Dark Moon Caverns one is really difficult. It's a very laggy track already, and we're trying to pause it on a specific frame to get that skip. And it's pretty hard to do, so hopefully we can pull it off. Gotta get that coin on the one at the finish line. Another really weird, interesting thing about playing is that bonking into palm trees is faster. A lot of the times, if you try to approach the ground, your landing gear will come out, and it assumes that you're trying to land, and actually, like, it acts like a magnet. It pulls the plane towards the ground, and you have to like really pull up to try and get it to like come off of there. But it's like glue. A lot of the times, you really don't have much control over it.
Nice.
And you just kind of have to deal with it, and it causes some really big problems if it does happen. So you try to get close to the ground to hit things like the ground zippers, the boosts on the ground, but you don't always have that luxury. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, and if you go to the ground to hit a zipper, you really have to pull up fast if you actually need to get elevation to continue the barrel roll chain.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. So this track has one of the best pieces of music in the game for sure, but it causes the track to get really laggy at this point, to the point where a lot of your inputs, like my steering, my acceleration, my turning, all that stuff, it starts to just get eaten up by the lag, and a lot of it doesn't actually work anymore, which can cause some really bad bonks to happen where you lose a lot of time.
Are you going for the out of bounds?
You know what? I've never got it before, but for this purpose alone, I think we'll try it. We got Dragon Plains, so.
Dude, I think we can do anything.
That would be great.
So there's
Try it
this
right
really weird out of bounds where you can skip this loop. It's really hard to do.
I didn't get it. We'll try it on the last lap
yeah.
again, just for fun.
But you basically just crash into the side of the loop right when the boost starts you in the loop, and you just clip out. It's really bizarre.
Unfortunate oil slick placement there, but that's pretty typical of this track.
This is shout outs to Nordic Boa, who's obsessed with this trick.
And it doesn't save all that. It's like half a second. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not even. It's really, really hard to do. And I'm probably gonna mess it up again here. But if you do get it, it's like, it's pretty cool. Almost. Yeah, that's what you do. You just run into the side of the loop like that. Ah,
Yeah.
man, that stinks. Oh well. So yeah, that's another one of the tracks that's very, very hard to pause buffer and try to unpause and pause and grab that cutscene skip. But we're actually going to leave Future Funland now because we're next to the exit door. So instead of continuing with the rest of the tracks, we're just going to leave now since getting to that exit door is shorter than coming back to it later. We're going to go into the trophy, and we're going to get the trophy for this world.
Turn of the main. Trophy race.
Be amazing if we got Dragon Plane again.
Ancient lake.
Oh,
Last
I
Ancient
Overworld
Lake.
would be just as amazing though.
Yeah.
They're both 10% chances.
Last chance or double single. Third one.
So,
That was so close.
it is. This category is very interesting because of how the route can change and how you have to do different things based on that RNG, which is pretty cool. Any percent for this game is really, really messed up because of this trick. Naturally, we have to complete all the races to get all the balloons, not in any percent. In any percent, you get 11 of them. And you just do that trophy storage glitch over and over and over again, and so you have all the trophies, and you can reach Future Funland. But you actually need Dragon Plane to finish an any percent run. So you have to either sit there and grind out the wrong warp and hope that you get Dragon Plane, or you get an extra 5 balloons so that you can enter one of the tracks and finish the trophy that way. So it's very, very RNG heavy.
Nice jump.
Good stuff.
What is your 100% PB?
152.37. The world record is 147. 38, I think, yeah. So world record is still 5 minutes faster than me, which shows like how much improvement there is. And I'm in 8th place on the leaderboard. So there's not too much of a gap in terms of players, but the time difference is crazy. So shout outs again to Giz and Obio. Those are the only 2 guys who have a 147.
Shoutouts to Trident, who just had a super sick PB. Did he get a 149?
149. He's the 3rd person to ever get sub 1 hour 50 minutes in
Yeah.
this game in 100%. So, yeah. The Hundo Legend. Oh,
That'll
that's
happen
rough, yeah.
randomly.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, again, all of it, again with car, all of it has to do with trajectory. It's just how you're approaching things that can save you a lot of time and get you a lot of speed. All right, wrong warp time. We're hoping for Overworld here. That would be cool.
Almost
Man.
clip inbounds again for that manip.
Yep. One more time. Yeah, it usually helps. Helps you get it.
I think this is Overworld.
Oh, I messed
that
up the
would've been
RNG
so hype.
map. Yeah, that would have been insane. Call it twice in a row. So naturally, if I had gotten the Overworld warp, I would have just started out here instead of having to leave Dragon Forest again in the car like I just did. So that saves some more time too. But it's totally luck. Also, remember, we're still in a trophy race. Let's go get that trophy. So this can actually be a run killer too. This is one of the tracks that has the out of bounds clip on it. And this is the one that's just missing the bit of collision that allows you to just go out of bounds and start flying around. So we have to do this once to get the trophy, once to get the balloon, and once for the silver coins. We have to get this clip 3 times in a row, which when you're at the end of the run like this, it's not that hard of a clip, but you can kind of choke it.
Yeah, thankfully Giz came up with this really nice setup where you just essentially boost as soon as you bonk, and it almost guarantees that you make it every time, but like Sweener just said, it's at the end of the run. You're pretty exhausted from the thousands of inputs you've had to do, and yeah, it can go wrong fast.
Yeah, I want Giz to bring back his input counter.
Yeah, that was very
So you can
interesting
actually
to see.
like how many times he's pressed the A button during the run and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the numbers, but it
Yeah.
was an absurd amount.
All right, so here's our trophy. Once again, in Dino Domain, where it belongs.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yeah.
Cool. The Oblivinator donates $3. He says, in West Cincinnati, I was born and raised. On the zoo grounds is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, hanging out, acting all cool, eating bananas out by the pool. When a mom and her kid, they were up to no good, crawled over the fence into my neighborhood. I got in one little fight, and my zookeeper got scared. Heard gunshot because before I stopped breathing air. Thanks for that donation. I'm really glad I read that.
Oh my god, this is abysmal.
I blame the donation.
That was some old school memeing right there, man. Bring Harambe back into it. We're gonna do this without the shield. 'Cause, you know,
Alright. So if he gets this, he's officially the greatest of all time. Official.
So the reason we grabbed the shield there, if you didn't notice, there's a bunch of lasers trying to shoot you down out of the sky. If you grab the shield, the lasers can't shoot you. I mean, pretty simple. But I did it without it, because why not? We're at the end of the run, we're having fun. And I already messed up the clip like a whole bunch, so.
Darn you, Harambe.
Yeah, stuck the blade in and twisted it. Alright, so let's see if we can get this.
Nice.
Cool. Back into the silver coin. Got to do this a third time. And I'm going to attempt the fast silver coin strategy here. I'm going to get some of these coins on the first lap, and then I'm going to go out of bounds. And I'm going to leave the last few for the last lap, where I come back in bounds, grab them, finish the race, no problem. That's assuming that it all goes well. That's not good. So I missed one in the tunnel there. I'll have to come back and grab that. Oh, here we go. This is going to be hype.
Confirmed greatest.
Alright, so we're going to do this. Here's the start of the second lap. The thing that's interesting about playing as well, your ability to barrel roll is entirely based on how fast you're going. If you're not going fast enough, like you lose a bunch of speed, whether it's due to lag or you had to take a really sharp turn, you can't barrel roll again, and that's really not great. Because you kind of like sit there and like writhe around in the air, like please let me just go. He loses a ton of time. Oh, I should have done a front flip.
Yeah.
That would have been confirmed greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one more right here.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, so that's all done. That's good. We got all the cutscene skips there. We're gonna go into Star City now, and I think if I get this one, the only thing we'll have to go back and do is Dark Moon Caverns, and then we'll be almost ready for time after that.
For some reason, I was expecting a silver coin to be right there.
Soon.
Yeah.
That's an interesting zipper right there on the ground. You actually do have to kind of slow down for a second in order to get it, and it can be really annoying.
Yeah.
That balloon that I just managed to grab, that's another example of a balloon, like very, very consistently, you'll just go straight through.
Yeah. You have to like kind of drift into it to get it kind of consistently. But if you just like hit it head on, it's a good chance that you'll just clip right through it.
So this part's really kind of nerve-wracking too, because there are certain occasions where I don't know why it happens. I don't know if anyone does, but you'll bump into the back of an AI, and it will send you flying like 20 feet to the side.
Yeah.
And if it happens on the bridge, you just fall right off the bridge. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Nope, okay. Oh well. Alright, so back to Darkman Caverns, back to Star City, and we'll call this a day. Or after Wizpig 2, that is. So this is an interesting coin race in that there's actually 2 coins that if you don't grab them at the right moment, like that one right there, you can't go back into this loop, like go backwards and get it. So if you don't get it by the end of the race, you have to restart the race, and then that can be really bad. And they're easy to miss too. They look like they should be easy to grab.
Yeah,
they're right.
you really have to anticipate those loop coins.
Slow down and make sure I get it. Nice. Hey. Not horribly difficult to get, but like if you're really just trying to go fast and you forget about it, the run's over.
Wow.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Like, why didn't that bonk? But
It just doesn't make any sense. It's a very weird track. Bonk Moon Caverns. Star City to get our last balloon, and then we get to race Wizpig.
Star City.
So that's another example of a track that just kind of puts all of them relatively in the path that you need to travel.
yeah.
Oof, grab this. Oh, that could have been bad.
Yeah. No more scary bridges to deal with.
No more scary bridges, but we do have one more pretty nerve-wracking trick that we gotta get.
And it's not that cutscene skit.
No, it's not. Wizpig 2, this is an awesome boss race. If you do this casually, this is actually really, really difficult. You do it in plane, the track is littered in stuff that you can run into. But luckily for us, we don't have to worry about any of that. We're going to do one last clip, and we're going to go out of bounds. And realistically, this trick is about as hard as going out of bounds on Hot Top Volcano.
Yeah, if you know where to go, it's not that hard with the new setup. There was an older version of it that was a lot more difficult, but if you understand where the boundaries of the wall is,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's another example of another trick that's like, it's at the very end of the run, it's pretty difficult to get, and if you miss it, you kind of lose your PB.
Yeah.
It's the last trick, and it's a
very
toughie.
important one, and yeah, after like a almost 2-hour run, can be hard to get with just due to sheer exhaustion. But I think we're good.
Nice. So what's interesting about this track as well, since it's the last race, they take the training wheels off, and they don't give you any like track markers to show you that like you're going the right direction. And a lot of times that's actually really useful to have those, even though they're kind of baby mode.
Yeah.
When you're out of bounds like this, they let you know that you hit the right checkpoints, let you know that you're finishing it. Not this time. They're gone, and you just have to like know where to go. So a lot of this is just kind of me looking at the mini map down there, making sure that I'm hitting the right points. Final lap.
Once we cross the finish line, there'll be time.
Yep. Time.
154.
All right.
Very nice.
Sweet. So yeah, we're gonna watch WizPig get owned one more time, and that's everything. We'll let the credits run while you guys get all set up for the next runner. If you'd like to get into Diddy Kong Racing speedrunning, highly suggest it. Great game to play, and the community is awesome. So go ahead and check out the Discord. Start talking to people. You do need an N64 and a cartridge to play in the original copy. So find yourself a copy of that. The Japanese cartridge is like $5
They're
on
dirt
eBay.
cheap.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
If you don't have DKR and you want to get it, just get the JP cart right away. It's way cheaper than the American cart.
Yep. So yeah, that was Diddy Kong Racing 100%. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. That's an awesome run. Stick around, people. We have Ocarina of Time Bingo coming up next.